So this is what the brakes looked like on this. I thought it cracked when the brakes kind of worked from the beginning. They were really like bad, but they kind of worked. But then something happened and it kind of stopped completely. So I guess that this is what happened. The fucking dish completely split in half. So yeah. So I don't know how bad the rest of them are. The back looks kind of better according to what I've seen, but I'm going to try to change these. Not these, because I think these are the same as on another car I have, but spare part car, which was not intended to be a spare part car, but it's now. And yeah, so it has ventilated discs, which are great, but they are also not great like they are not absolutely as bad as these, but they are not great either. But I'm going to fit them because I want to move this car, because I want to be able to move it to, well, the place where they are going to measure out the, like, what is it, the rally thing inside the car. What the fuck, come on. Roll cage, for fuck's sake. So yeah, I want to be able to move it a little bit more safely, so I thought about changing to this wider dish, which are ventilated, and for that to be possible I have to change this, because it is kind of not enough room to put a ventilated dish here. So I'm gonna see if it's possible to change just that part and leave this part, the brake caliper or whatever it's called. So I'm gonna change the frame and leave the caliper, and I don't know if it's possible, but it looks like it's about the same size and everything. So yeah, I'm gonna try at least, because I have spare parts laying around. So that's what I'm going to do now. So I ended up switching this whole thing and this also, because when this was a ventilated dish, it was a little bit wider, which I thought that if I just switched this, then it would fit, which it did. But then it's also, this caliper is wider when it's a like ventilated dish, so it didn't fit, so I had to change all of these things. But yeah, they got loose. I thought that I would have to cut every, like, these pipes and everything, but yeah, everything is like working, and I have some form of brake. I'm not gonna use those brakes later on, but for now, so that I have brakes at least, I can move the car without struggling so much, because yeah, it's a little bit easier. And now I'm going to change the oil and the filter, because it has been, well, over 10 years since any sort of oil change. I don't believe I have ever changed oil in this, because I didn't drive that long with it. So yeah, so it perhaps need an oil change. And then I'm going to change this coolant where the thermostat sits, because it is leaking somewhere here. I don't really know, it's just bubbling a little, or if it was here, I don't know. But as you can see, it's a little bit wet. And then I also have an issue with it starting. It runs pretty well on higher RPMs, but on low RPMs it just won't idle. And I really don't understand why. It could be that it's old fuel in it also, so I'm going to change the fuel filter and change the fuel, and then I'm also going to change the gearbox oil and yeah, some brake pads and things like that. Yesterday I changed the windscreen, and yeah, I think it turned out pretty well. I don't know, at least it sits there, so I guess that it's okay then. But yeah, I'm going to start with changing the oils and filters in this car. And coolant I'm going to change as well, because yeah, it has also been there and I don't know what it is in the coolant system. And yeah, I have broke this, or it has broken, I don't know why. So I put some Teflon mask, whatever it is, because it cannot be vacuum leaks there. And according to what I have understood, this is a pin which you can like turn. It's an insect key, and it makes the mixture of fuel on like idle. So, but I haven't touched it, so I don't really know why it should have changed all of a sudden. So I mean, I only plugged the hole, and it's a spring-loaded thing, so it doesn't really matter if there is a Teflon mass or whatever you call it. These things which you stick papers to the wall. And yeah, yes, I have taken off this because it was a vacuum leak, I thought, because there was this vacuum slung, whatever, letku vacuum line was disconnected under here, so I plugged it in and it didn't change a bit, so now it just won't start at all. So I don't know. It starts when it have cooled down, because I run it a little warm, not hot but warm, because I want to change the oil, but it stopped and it won't start again. So, and before, when I pushed this, when I was like trying to start it, it would start and then it would run, but now that didn't work either. So I guess that I have changed the fuel first, and then if that doesn't work, I will have to maybe clean something. I don't really know, because I'm not a mechanic. I'm just doing this for fun, and yeah, I'm learning by the way. So yeah, but we start with oil because I want to change all the oils and fuels, and then we can all liquids, and then we can start looking at why it won't run properly. And I made a bucket that collects the oil of a 10-liter washer fluid canister, because yeah, whatever, they get disgusting anyway, and I don't really care. And it's a good collector. Aye. And now we are going to do the more disgusting part and taking the filter away, because yeah, that's always fun. And I don't know if it will get loose. Maybe not by hand force, at least. Ah, Jesus. Ah, nope. Jesus. I felt that it was losing a little bit. Victory. Almost. Holy fuck. And yes, there is tools that you can use for this, but it was not where I thought it would be, so I used my hands. So this is supposed to be an OEM filter, but I don't really know. I don't UFI. I don't know, but it was the original like quality when I bought it, they said, because it was more expensive, and it's, well, it's some strange spring inside it. I don't know if you have ever seen that before, but I have not, but whatever. Put a little oil on the gasket, then it will be easier to take it maybe away sometime in the future. I don't know, but at least it's easier to screw in when you have put a little oil on it. Yeah. You should preferably use a paper, but the thumb is as good because it absorbs everything. As I said, skin absorbs everything that you put on it, so it's not that good getting your hands in all kinds of oils and gasolines, but yeah, someone has to be stupid, so use gloves, at least when playing with fuel. I'm not gonna tighten it with 2 hands because then it's the wrong Newton. No, I'm just kidding, but not too fucking tight, because I still want it to be loosened sometime. And it also says made in China, which I don't believe that an original part would be to a Mercedes. So that was the filter. So yeah, next up we have the coolant, and this is supposed to be the place where you take that out, and I've never changed coolant in it. I have just refilled, but it is green at least. And yep, that was it. Where the fuck is the coolant? It is supposed to be 8.5 liters. I got 1 deciliter. Maybe I have to take the cap away. Yep. 1 deciliter more. Oopa. But still it is nowhere near 8.5 liters. I think that is no, it's a 20-liter bucket, so yeah, but I thought it was a 10-liter, but now I decided to change this part because it's leaking somewhere, about someplace. Oh, now we have to bring out some backup. What the fuck? Hopefully they come loose, otherwise I have to change the whole aluminium part. At least that one, and that one, and that one. When it is this fucking tight, or tight, but it is probably the gasket that has dried out, and when I rip it away, it will get fucked. Is there some kind of trick to this? That was not the trick. So there is no gasket. Yes, there is. No, there is not. Or? No. Weird. And the thermostat is something that I should use. Why is everything so fucking stuck on this car? Should there be a gasket on this? I have never opened this on this car, so I don't know. But there was no sign of a gasket that I could see. Or is there? No, there is no fucking sign of a gasket. Maybe it's just sealed with this. So this is the part that I thought to change it to. It's from my other parts car, which is not new either, but this is looking a little bit more rough. But I guess that is a crack. Yes, it is a crack in it here. If you can see, I don't know. I don't believe that. But there is a crack here. So I guess that this is better. But I still should have changed the thermostat. Why didn't I think about buying a new of these? Is there any difference which way this little hole goes? I have no idea. I put it upwards. Aha! This is the sealant gasket that connects against this line. And yeah, that's unfortunate. That could also be why this was leaking, because this is really bad here. This is also not super great, but it's a lot better. Well, at least I'm going to try and see if this keeps the coolant in the system. And if not, I know where to buy them. I thought that I could get away with not buying a new part unnecessarily, but I don't know. I have a strong feeling that I have to go to the store. And now we're going to give it back some oil. There is supposed to go 5 liters into it if you change the filters, or the filter. And this is only a 4 liter, but I have extra. So now under the car, and this is the gearbox that I'm going to change oil in, and the filling plug is there, and you're supposed to fill until it drips back out. Ah! It is red at least, and a lot of magnetic debris. Could be worse, maybe, I don't know. Well, it's not that big of a magnet, so it is. Well, it's a lot, but I don't know. It could be really fucking old, this oil. At least it has not been changed in about over 15 years. So I don't know. I don't know how often you change gearbox oil either, but I guess sometimes when you feel like it. So this is what it looks like when it's clean. So there was, well, a bit of metallic debris, wear off parts. So guess that it's good that they have a magnet in it. So here I have my refilling pipe, which is in through the hole on the side of the gearbox, which you can see barely there. Well, you get the deal. So hopefully it goes into the gearbox. And it's leaking. And until it comes out again. And it comes out. Suck it in. So I'm also going to change the diff oil. Then I have changed all the oils and fluids that I can think about in this car, even the gasoline, because the gasoline, I changed the fuel filter, but the tank was full of water and other shit, and the fuel GAUG, the meter that shows how much fuel it had been completely rusted up, so I thought that there was more fuel in the car than it actually was, because it had locked on like 1/4 tank. But yeah, so I have solved that problem now and changed the fuel filter and cleaned out the whole fuel system. Now I'm going to change the diff oil, and that is the drainage plug, and this on the other side here higher up I believe is the fill plug, and you should fill until it starts dripping out again, and that's supposed to be 0.7 liters on these smaller diffs. Bro, that was black. I don't know, but it feels like it should be red. And it's full. So this was the only footage from on board I got, because my GoPro decided to die and did not want to work. But I managed to film one video. It was kind of hard because, yeah, it is. And yeah, from the outside it looks very slow, but it was fun. I know that I need more horsepower now, and I need a lot of other things. But I got to test drive it, and that was the main thing, because now I know what I need to buy. Like a racing seat is one of the biggest things that I need, because it is really hard to sit on a seat that you slide around in. And of course horsepower, and brakes worked really like over the expectation. and yeah, a lot of other things, steering wheel, a lot of bushings and springs, and of course wheels, because, or no, tires, because those were kind of crappy. So yeah, but that will be for some future video. So yeah, bye.